So I'm always picking up old pictures from picture frames from car boot sales and things like that because I love upcycling them and using them. I think this cost me about 75 pence. What's that, about less than $1. Filthy. It's quite an old frame, I think. Probably about 1950s. And I think there's a lot I could do with this to make it look much better than it is now. Now, I always check to see if the pictures inside them are originals or have any value before I go ahead and destroy them, because that would be a shame if not. And this one definitely hasn't. It's just a print, but it's been very well framed. So I need to get this off here. It's been pasted over with this paper. So let's crack this paper open, and then we should find the little tacks that are holding it all together. Often they're not done as nice as this, but there we go. It's surprising what you find behind old pictures sometimes as well. I've found letters and all sorts of things, but nothing behind this one. I also found some old money as well behind one. Not a lot, but I bet whoever lost it at the time of losing it, it was a lot to them. So I'm not going to use these tacks anymore. I will use some new ones, so I can dispose of these ones. But I will use the backboard. I will use this because it's cut to the right shape. And I'll use the framing board as well that's in the inside. Not to frame a new picture, but to measure out what I want, because I want it to be the same size. So this bit, because that's too dirty. Well, it might not be when I take it out. It might just be the fact that the frame's really dirty. So that's the backboard. Yeah, the back frame, look how filthy that is. So we'll keep that, because that'll allow me to cut a new one to the same size. We'll put the glass somewhere really safe, because if not I will break it. I might break it even though somewhere safe, to be honest. And if it won't come off, all I can do is put a sharp blade underneath it and help it off. There we go. So that has come off now. This little print looks like it's come out of a newspaper or something like that. But there we go. We don't need that. So what I'm going to use this board for is to make another piece of art once I've done the frame with, and I'll show you how to do that. You can take these bits off because I want to do something with those as well, and they only slot back in there. And let's tidy up before I do anything else. So first thing I'm going to do is give this a bit of a sand with a fine sandpaper, just to clean all this up. Wear a mask when you're doing this because you don't want to be breathing in sand dust. So I'm just going to go round and give it all a quick sand. I don't want to round off any of the edges or anything like that, but I just want to give it a big quick sand to remove anything that's on here that I don't want on here. If you over sand it, what will happen is you'll round off a lot of these edges. Now that can look nice, but sometimes it can destroy the finish that you're going for. And then what I'll do is I'll go round it. Look how dirty that is. I'll go round it afterwards with a baby wipe to get this nice and clean. And I find the baby wipes do it really well. They don't damage the frame or wood in any way, but they do help to break up any dirt that's on there. Now I've already got something in mind for this. And these bits as well will need a good going over for the same reason. They're filthy. Okay, and now we need to let that dry before we do the next stage. So this next stage is about me taping it off so that I don't get any of the bits, because I want to have this as almost a two-tone frame. So it's got two different colours on it. So I want this bit here to be a different colour than this bit here and this bit here. So all I'm going along with is some masking tape and taping that off all the way round. Lining that straight edge up there, straight edge along there. And then doing the same with the inside as well. I've got some really thin tape here to do that with. I use this ever such a lot. So now I've got all that tape on, I'm just running my fingers across to make sure that I've got it all nicely connected. And now what I'm going to do is paint this bit red. I don't need a thick coat. I just need a thin coat of red all the way on here. I'll show you why in a second. So I'm going to go all the way around this bit, give it a coat of red, and then let it dry before I do the next stage. And this is a really quick project. You get this done in a matter of minutes. Not minutes, that's over-exaggeration. You could probably do this in a nice afternoon. There we go, and now I'm going to let that dry nice and solid. Probably let it dry, air dry for half an hour, or go over it with a hairdryer for about 2 or 3 minutes. So now that's all lovely and dry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to gild this. I'm using a gilding glue here. Now, I find it's really important to use a really good gilding glue. It's not expensive, so it's worth investing in, and it does go a long, long way. And it will make a massive difference to what you're going to do if you want to try gilding. Now, I'm very messy when I gild, there's no doubt about it, but I will try to work clean today. Not going to happen. Make sure you cover everywhere that you want to be gilded. And when this first goes on, it always goes on white and then dries clear. You don't need it really thick. A thin layer is all you need. And it is water soluble, so you can wash your brush out afterwards as well. And this will stay really tacky until after you've put your leaf on. And I'm using a metal leaf. I'm not using real gold or anything like that. It's too expensive. And I've got something really special to show you for this bit that I can't wait. I've not even used it yet. And I can't wait to use it. And then I'm going to use it in resin as well to see how well it comes up in resin on my other channel. And the reason I painted it red to start with is because it gives a much better finish for the actual leaf when you put the leaf on. Doesn't give that browny, yucky colour shine through in any way. So now that's all dry, that glue, I've popped a bit of brown paper down because it's much easier to clear up on the brown paper than my cutting mat. And I've got this metal leaf here, and you get tons of it for next to nothing. Don't worry, I will link it in the description below. And I'm just cutting some strips because that way I don't have to mess up a whole sheet of it just for the edges. And now I can pop this on really easily like that. And it will stick to it all the way around. Very fragile. And then I just use a soft brush to put that on. I can fill any gaps, and if there's any bits that I've missed, all I have to do then is go over with a little bit more glue, and then that will stick to that, no problem. But look how pretty that bit is already. Woohoo, lovely. I'm just going to go round, and I'm going to finish putting this on all the way around. Then I'll show you what I'm going to do next with this amazing stuff. So that's all on there now. Really should have stuck to that quite well. And what I'm going to do is pull my tape off, and that should give me a really nice crisp edge with none of that red going anywhere else. And it has done. Look at that lovely crisp edge. Showing it there. Look at that lovely crisp edge. And it will also do the same on the inside as well. So now I've got that off both on the inside and on the outside. What I want to do is paint this a gold colour right up to the edge of where I've put the red, and then let that dry. Now this is going to be a bit more tricky. I could put some tape over that red leaf, but if I do that I'd have to dull the tape a little bit first on my shirt so it doesn't pull the leaf off. I could do it like this to get a much neater line and put that on there, because that isn't going to pull off that red, because the adhesive underneath that's holding that red is stronger than the adhesive that I'm using on this tape. But I will take some of the tacky off still on my shirt. So that'll be okay on there like that. And now I can paint that frame both inside and out without having to worry about getting a nice straight edge. So that's nice and dry now. And you could leave it like that, because actually that is quite a nice effect. But I don't want to do that. I'm always one to over gild the lily. And I've got in my head what I want to do. So now what I need to do is pop on my glue on here. And this is the same glue I used before, the gilding glue. And I'm going to pop that onto the inside and let that dry. And then I can show you. I'm so excited about showing you what I've got to show you. And I'll also do this part of the frame as well as the edges with this glue as I go along. So there we go, that's all painted all the way around now. I can just let that dry, wash my brush out, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Well, this is all dry now and very sticky, and what I'm going to show you is this. I absolutely love this. Look at that, look how beautiful that is. And you get 24 sheets of this, and it's really, really not expensive at all. And I can't wait to use it in resin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some sheets off now, like that, and I'm going to cut it that way, so the pattern's going that way. And I don't mind if the pattern gets cut or broken in any way. That is absolutely fine, because I think it's still going to look awesome. I'm popping that on there, like that, going all the way around, and then applying it in exactly the same way as I did before. So I'll put it on, and then I'll use my brush to brush it on to make sure it's adhered to that. And thank you to everyone that got me a coffee last month as well. It really helps to keep this channel going and all my channels going. So thank you so much. You're so generous. And if you'd like to tip me or buy me a coffee, then the link for that is in the description below. and then you'll get on my copy board. So now I've got that covered up, all I need to do is brush this on, making sure it's very well adhered and it's burnished up and all those areas are covered. Oh, I love this effect. I'm loving this. The whole frame would have looked lovely in this, but no, I decided to do it two-tone, so I've got to stick by my choice. I don't have the camera showing it really any justice. Okay, now that's done, and I can remove this blue tape carefully. And it's not pulled any of that red up at all, but it has given it a really nice sharp edge. Oh, you know, I'm pleased I put that red on. I love it. I think this has got to be my favourite upcycle so far of a picture frame. Look at that! That has come out absolutely stunning. So this is the picture that I want to put into here, but this is a print. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace that. I know it's cheating, but it's going in my office, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to trace that onto this picture that is the right size for that frame. I know that that will stick on the back of that really well. And it might be cheating, but I'm not good enough artist. So I'm going to use my tracing board for this. Up that way, I suppose. I've got to use it. This is just a cheap one of these. I'll link it in the description below because I use it a lot for different things. You can buy really expensive ones, but I'm not sure why you would need one when this works just as well. And you can have it, it's got 3 different brightnesses as well. There we go. So I'm going to attach this onto this piece of paper first. You'll see how easy that comes through, look. So I'll be able to trace that so easily now. So I'm going to attach this to the back of this, nice and square. So I've got that taped down there now, and you can see that image is coming through really well. And what I'm going to do is, using my pencils, I'm going to go over and make that image. So now I've got the outline done. I'm really pleased with that. What I'm going to do is shade it in now. I don't need it on my light box to shade it in. I can do that here with my different pencils. And then I'll show you what it looks like, and then I'll show you how to put the frame back together. So he's all finished now, and I'm really pleased with the way that that's come out. It's not as handsome as the original, but I don't mind. It's got my bit of a take on it now. So all I need to do now is cut a new one of these out so it's nice and clean, and then put it all together. And that's really easy to do. All I need to do is line that on there, like that, on this piece of card that I've got that I want to replace this with. Draw in my little points here so we can see all those. Get a nice long ruler, sharp knife, cut that out, and then the middle bit, all I need to do is line up my 2 points that I've done there and cut in between those. And there's my new clean frame for it. Look at that. I'm sure that will go on there just right, and it will. And now it's got a new clean frame. I like that. Now it's time to put it all together. First thing I need to do is give that a clean with some cleaner. I'm going to use a bit of glass cleaner because that is absolutely filthy. Let that sit on there for a minute or two and then wipe that off and then do the other side. So it's all clean. I've put these little bits of wood back in. Now I can put my glass back in like that. Put the picture in and frame. I'll make sure that lines up. Yeah, it does. Put the original one back in there, and that's the back going on. And now I'm going to put some little tacks in that to hold that back on. But I'm going to put some new ones in. And I'll go around there and fill them all in, and then I'll show you what it all looks like finished. Well, there we go. It's all finished. And can you believe it? As I was turning it over, I dropped it and broke the bloody glass. After I'd cleaned it all as well. I actually don't mind. It makes it look a little bit more antique, but I'm not going to leave it like that. What I'm going to do is, I've got quite a bit of clear glass in the garage in case I buy a frame and it hasn't got any glass in, and I'll just cut a bit and put it in there. But overall, I think that's come out okay. I really, really like that. I love the way the frame has come out. That gold leaf, or that fake gold leaf that I put on there, really does work well. And that's taken me about 2.5 hours today to do the whole thing, from beginning to end, including the little sketch. Very, very pretty. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that as much as I have. Be sure to check out the video I've got coming up next. I think you'll really like that one as well. Boot the like button, hit the subscribe button, but most of all, enjoy your crafting. Take care. Bye.